What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media, bringing you Ravens content every single day. If you want to stay tuned with Ravens content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the notification bell as well if you want to get notified every single time I put a brand new video, or if Joshua and I are streaming before and after the game. Shout out to everybody that was in the post-game stream last night. That went on for, I think, 2 hours. It went on for a while. It was a lot of fun. It wasn't a lot of fun. It was a lot of good content analysis and discussion with you guys, kind of venting about a whole lot of stuff. Obviously talking about the coaches, talking about some of the players. A lot of things went down in discussion in that stream. So if you haven't checked it out, I recommend flipping through it, seeing, you don't have to watch the whole thing. It's pretty long. But if you want to check out some of the thoughts, you can skip through, see what we were talking about. A lot of different stuff, though, that we talked about. But in this video, I need to talk about something that I don't think is being brought up enough, and that is Chuck Clark. And he's been lacking. He hasn't been doing his job. And first off, I want to say I like Chuck Clark. I think Chuck Clark is part of this team's future, honestly. Like, that's what I'm expecting from what the Ravens have done in the past, and how they've utilized him and what they say about him. I think Chuck Clark is here to stay. But with that said, he has not been doing his job. And when it comes to him stopping the run and things like that, he's doing a very solid job. He's doing decent when it comes to tackling. But, he's not a guy that I would expect to go out there and be Ed Reed when it comes to coverage. That's not what I'm saying by do your job. What I'm saying by do your job is you have the green dot. You are in charge of communicating the plays to your defense. And it isn't happening. 3 times in the last 2 weeks have the Ravens come out and just had some ridiculous busted coverage. Like, players open with 20 yards of space. And it was, I would say the game sealing play against the Dolphins last night was a busted cover. It was a complete busted coverage. Now, I don't know whose man that was. That is a very difficult call. We don't know exactly what the Ravens wanted there to do there. Chris Westry was the cornerback on the outside. The guy shifts over. Chris Westry may have supposed to have been able to shift with him and cover him in man, or maybe he was supposed to swap off with the guy covering the tight end or the running back. And maybe it was, I've seen people say maybe it was Patrick Queen that needed to shift over. I've heard, hey, Chuck Clark is the deep safety. He should switch over. A lot of guys, it's very difficult to tell who is the one that's supposed to be there. But that's a situation where if you're calling the defense, you got to communicate that type of thing. Hey, you got this man, that type of stuff. Then the other ones, there's been 2 plays where Chuck Clark is very clearly the over-the-top safety, and he should be there, and he just isn't there. The Justin Jefferson touchdown. Marlon Humphrey very clearly thought that he had over-the-top coverage, and he was supposed to have over-the-top coverage, and Chuck Clark was out of position. It took them too long to get set. They were out of position, and he wasn't there. So Marlon obviously is playing the out route, because when you're playing defense in the modern NFL, you got to guess. It's very difficult to react to things like that. So he's playing the outside, and he's like, I got over-the-top coverage, so if he gets behind me, I'm good. Well, Justin Jefferson gets behind him. Marlon turns around, and you see him like, what the heck? Oh, there's nobody back there. And he's running back, and he's like, obviously visibly frustrated. He's confused. Then this last week, Anthony Averett in coverage. I believe what the Ravens called, they called cover 2 zone coverage. Anthony Averett was playing the flat route. He was playing underneath. And he turns around, and there goes the wide receiver, just wide open, and Chuck Clark nowhere to be seen. All of a sudden, eventually he gets over there, and it's just like, how many times can that happen this year where it is just, it's not like the opposing teams are like cooking our players. Like, it's, it is literally just lack of communication and lack of discipline on this defense that is killing them. The Baltimore Ravens played an excellent game defensively last night, outside of 3 plays. 3 plays. Chuck Clark was kind of involved in all of them. They had the big throw up, and Chuck Clark didn't play the ball, didn't really play the receiver, kind of just got under the tight end. They made a great catch. Shout out to the tight end that made that big play. Obviously, the busted cover 2, And then the lack of communication in the secondary on that final drive by the Dolphins, their second to last drive, technically, they kneeled it out at the end of the game. And that's the type of thing that when you have a signal caller, you need to make sure that they have everybody in line. And this isn't, I don't want to say this is 100% on Chuck Clark. This falls on a lot of the defensive players for being lack of discipline, but that starts with Chuck Clark, and that starts with him getting the communication to the defense out there. So that's why I'm saying Chuck Clark. I'm not saying Chuck Clark is bad. I'm not saying bench Chuck Clark. I like Chuck Clark. He should be out there, but the Ravens got to figure something out. And maybe this goes back to Wink Martindale running too complex of a system, which we talked about a ton in the stream last night, in that the Ravens are lacking experience. Their guys, I mean, Chris Westry's barely played for the Ravens. Brandon Stephens has barely even played defense in his career, least of all the NFL. Like, the Ravens got to work on their communication, and they're running such a complex scheme, like it's difficult to communicate. So maybe it goes back to the scheme of Wink Martindale, but on the field, it is Chuck Clark, and he's got to be the one that communicates with all those guys. And I don't feel like it's happening right now. But individually, Chuck Clark as the player, I feel like he's been decent outside of those just busted coverages, and they've just been atrocious and momentum killing. And the Ravens got to sort that out. Maybe they take the green mic from. The issue is I don't know who can take the green dot. Patrick Queen is like the only guy out there. You're not going to give it to a D lineman. And so that means that Patrick Queen is the only other guy that's really out there consistently. But Patrick Queen is incredibly young. And so I don't know if the Ravens want to put that experience on him. So it's going to be really tough. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about Chuck Clark. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe for daily Ravens content. And I'll see all of you again tomorrow.